What can I do? What can we do about opioids?
I don't see it getting better anytime soon. That's why I'm out here. Last week, on Wednesday, I spoke at the Intermediate High School here in North Allegheny. Dr. Lynch and I were at Duquesne University doing a function there. So, I mean, anything I can to get out there, to get the information out, I will do that. Because the thing that sucks the most about my job, the thing I hate the most about my job, is when I have to talk to a parent that's lost a son or a daughter to addiction. And I just got a call yesterday from a mother who lost her son. And I was trying to help him back in September. He was ordering stuff off the internet. At that time, it was not illegal, but now it is still legal. And he was going into therapy, and I wished him well. And I got a call from his mother yesterday, and he succumbed to his addiction. So this is what we're seeing. There's new statistics out. I don't know if you saw them come out. I'm going to talk about those for the first time. This is my first presentation with the 2016 numbers, but we are in an addiction epidemic like we have never seen before. Every day in this country, 144 people die every day. That's like one person every 19 minutes is dying from a drug overdose death. And unfortunately, Pennsylvania is in the top 10 states for drug overdose deaths. You see this morning, our numbers for 2016 were over 40% right now per 100,000 people. That's how high up we've gone. And as I don't know if you saw Dr. Williams, the Allegheny County coroner last week, here we are, 613 deaths in Allegheny County for calendar year 2016.
And he came up with this new project called Project Dump that's dispose of your unwanted medications properly. We don't want you throwing your medications in the garbage. I know everyone here probably has done that in the past, but we don't want you flushing them down the toilet. So we come up with this program, Project Dump. You can call me directly. My name is on here and my cell phone number is on here. And I can come directly to your house, to your school, to your library. I've done this, so that's how I know.
I know my personal experience. I have two babies. This is, again, Kelly talking, not the FBI talking. And I was misguided on using my own opioids, and that was 2 years ago, and that was from, a very highly respected nurse. So we really need to be diligent, educate ourselves, educate our friends and our family members on this, because there's a lot of an old school way of thinking and a new school way of thinking, and I think that we have a responsibility within ourselves to protect everybody from these dangerous chemicals. I think that doing a project isn't as important as what you learn from the project. A lot of them, these are some of the things that they were telling me, and then I wrote down. The purpose of the project is to demystify the stereotype and the judgments that everybody has on this topic. I asked them, from day one, what did you think heroin addiction looked like? And a lot of them, most of them said, recluse, outcast, images of homeless people in alleyways, etc., what you see on TV, or the traditional heroin addict type that you would normally think on TV. And I said, well, what do you think of what heroin addiction looks like now? And they said that they didn't realize the problem of functional addiction, that it could go on for years hidden. And one individual, I always like to say, said, quote, even a nice person who has made a bad decision. And that pleased me very well, because they are learning from this. They are taking away what we want them to take away. And they're thinking about it differently.
An opioid overdose. Unfortunately, I have personally seen and taken care of thousands of patients in my career who have had an opioid overdose in various stages, all the way from reverse before they get to me to dead or brain dead, unfortunately, and everything in between that you can imagine. So I will describe what you might see, what you might encounter, and again, how we might respond to it. Unfortunately, I'm guessing, well, in fact, I know some, and I'm guessing a lot of people in this room have had experience with what this looks like firsthand. And so I'm sorry for anyone who's had that experience. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But what you might expect to see, and as was pointed out, it often starts as somebody who looks like they could be sleeping, and that's an opioid effect. It's not even necessarily an overdose effect. It's somnolence, CNS or central nervous system, depression, sleepiness, and then eventually slowing of the respiratory rate, which may be imperceptible, and to a point where over the course of minutes is how fast this can progress. So basically what we're seeing, where this all starts, is as the opioid takes effect in your brain, you slow down your breathing. So there's a number here on the bottom right of the screen that says 6. He's breathing 6 times a minute. You and I are breathing between 14 and 20 times per minute on average. So right off the bat, and when he's taking breaths, they're very shallow. You or I take in about half a liter to a liter of air with every breath. He may be taking in about a fifth of a liter, something like that. So as a result, the other number that we're showing up here is a 72. That's the percentage of oxygen in his bloodstream. Normal for you or me sitting here is 95 to 100%. So we live around 100%. His, because he's not breathing very well, not getting oxygen in, not breathing carbon dioxide out, has dropped to a level that's far too low to sustain life.
He played sports. He hurt his knee as a freshman. He had major surgery his freshman year, his right knee. He then went on to have his second surgery as a sophomore. His third, same knee, same issue, third year, another surgery. Finally, we had to have a donor for bone and cartilage. He had his fourth surgery his senior year. His senior year, he told me, "Mom, I'm addicted to painkillers." I had a gut instinct, but I was in denial.
The addicts, the families, the friends, and that's why I care. You know, as Brian DEA Dempsey said, the most profound thing that you always remember is I made those death notifications, as my officers has, and they stick with you, and they never really leave you. And what we needed to do as the police is I wanted to be able to find out what we needed to do to really help us. We had to, first of all, understand that this is a disease. And as DEA Dempsey said, we couldn't arrest ourselves away from it. What I do know is I've worked with the drug culture for over 40 years. I was an undercover detective. I worked as a detective. I've seen the devastation that this disease causes, and that's what we had to do in law enforcement. We had to recognize first and foremost that this was a disease. Recently, I am so proud of the men that I command. I do assessment questions now and then for my officers. And I ask the question, as a McCandless policeman in the role that you are now, what can you be doing to combat the opioid crisis? The answers and the input I got were fantastic. It makes me proud to stand here and be the chief of police of these fine officers. But what was the key is the response was compassionate and empathetic to what the problem is. And I will tell you firsthand that dealing, and I've dealt with hundreds of addicts in this disease, and none of them really want to be there. The life is just absolutely devastating. So what are we trying to do as a police agency? Well, one of the first things we do is we're first responders. And when I came and evaluated our programs, I wrote policy, we educated officers, and we have naloxone. Because we're in the business of saving lives.
And tell you all these great things that I'm doing. You know, I'm about to have my master's degree. I'm doing all these really good things with my life. You know, if I sat here and I told you that's the way, you get one perception of me, and I tell you that when I was 20 years old, I was addicted to heroin, going to state prison. I became a convicted felon. I was homeless, and heroin controlled my every move. You might get a different perception of me. And both of those descriptions are still me. That I am the same person. I am still somebody's daughter. I'm still somebody's sister. I'm still somebody's mother, no matter what bio I give you of myself. And anybody who thought a little bit differently of me when I gave you that second definition of who I am, that's the stigma that we're all trying to reduce or eliminate. I mean, in my world, it's going to be eliminated someday, but I don't know if that's, you know, a fathomable goal.